What is going on, guys? Back, another video from the vlog. If you guys have not seen the vlog, go check it out. But we just had Backlash, and Backlash wasn't really like the best of the pay-per-views, but it gave us some moments, some really great moments. Let's get into this. We start off with the Fatal 4-Way, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, Jacob Fatu, and Mr. L.A. Knight. Now, this match was really, I wouldn't even say like a 5-star match. I'd give it like a 3.5, 4-star match. But I wanted this match to show Jacob really being like that phenomenon, that animal, that guy that overcomes fatal 4-ways and triple threats, kind of like a Obafemi. If you look at Obafemi in NXT, triple threat matches are his go-tos. You put triple threats and Obafemi in the same sentence, automatic 5-star match in my opinion. Whether it was Wesley, Trick Williams, Javon, it was great. But I wanted this match to really be, Jacob showing his, authority to the WWE roster, taking out the likes of a Drew, of a LA Knight, of a Priest, 2 out of the 3 being former world champions. But they gave us some new guy that I've never heard of. I didn't even get to hear his name, to be honest. But Solo debuts another guy that's a part of this bloodline because Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are both injured. Don't even know who this guy is. I don't think he's a part of the bloodline unless he's like their 3rd to 4th uncle or something like that. But Jacob Fatu ends up winning convincingly, thanks to the likes of a Solo Sikoa and whoever that random is, to be honest with you. But it was a nice match for the time being. We seen Priest and Drew, obviously they still got some beef. And honestly, the Drew and Priest thing really worked out in the end, especially at WrestleMania, because it was a feud that nobody really wanted. Everybody was like, Drew needs to be in the world title picture. Drew needs this. Drew needs that. And then they put him with Priest and everybody was mad. But guess what? It clicked. It worked out. An anything goes match at WrestleMania. And it was honestly one of the best matches that I could remember from WrestleMania. But again, Jacob won. Jacob wins and keeps his title. I'm still a fan. I'm just, really sad on how they did it. But hey. Then we had Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. This was honestly one of the better matches tonight outside of the main event. This is one of the better matches that I was actually intrigued on. I think this is one of Lyra's better performance. And that also has to do with Becky Lynch. Because Becky Lynch, she showed why she's, the GOAT of women's wrestling. And in my opinion, she's not the GOAT. But from what people say and how people view her, they say she's the GOAT. So I guess she's the GOAT. But Lyra beats Becky for the Intercontinental Championship. And I love Lyra Valkyria. I think doing this and putting her with Becky is a great nod for her to put her with Becky Lynch and give the Intercontinental Championship, the Women's Intercontinental Championship, something prestigious because she didn't really have a feud. All she had was multiple one-on-ones, number 1 contenders matches. They weren't actually feuds. They were just, hey, random number 1 contenders match. Somebody wins. Okay, random Intercontinental Championship match on Raw. I get that. I understand that. But Lyra and Becky is going to be something that I figure carries into either Money in the Bank or SummerSlam. Now, I don't want it to carry all the way to SummerSlam. I think that's very long to carry this feud for. But carrying it to Money in the Bank, I think that would be good. I think that would be great. But Lyra wins, I'm happy. Dominic versus Penta. Now, we all knew the Judgment Day were going to get involved, right? Judgment Day was going to get involved no matter what. My issue with this was they should have, if they were just going to have Judgment Day come out there, get thrown out, and then El Grande Americano was going to come in and do what he did, I honestly felt like they should have just had El Grande Americano come in and do what he was going to do. Because I get how this looks, right? They're trying to build Judgment Day kind of screwing over Dom in the end because they keep getting caught attacking, said other opponent. And I do like the El Grande Americano bit where whoever El Grande Americano is still upset about luchadors. But I get why El Grande Americano helped, Dom, because Dom's the good luchador. He's the luchador that people don't want to, touch because he's one of the greatest of all time, But Dom and Penta was a good match before the interferences and stuff like that. I think Dom took a great Mexican destroyer out there on the outside of the ropes. Dom diving in a suicide dive into a DDT was not on my bingo card from him, but I would like to see more of wrestlers get in their bag like that. If y'all ain't seen Dominic Mysterio when he was with his dad and they were tag team champions and he was going against the Bloodline, go watch that because Dominic has a serious bag that he can dig into and he's really good. They have him doing these half-assed moves. No, let him reach in his bag. He is Intercontinental Champion. He needs to reach in his bag against the likes of a Penta or whoever to bring that out of him. But this was a great match. Before all the shenanigans, it was good. I love Dom winning because Dom's one of my favorites right now. I know I keep calling him the GOAT. He's not the GOAT. The GOAT, one of the GOATs, is this guy on my shirt. And I will explain the shirt at the end of the video. But Dom and Penta, I would probably say my second favorite match of the night. Only because the Fatal 4-Way was ruined by whoever that random was. Pat McAfee versus Gunther. Now, can I just be honest with you guys? Can I really be honest with you guys? This match was supposed to be a squash match. But they made it to where Pat McAfee had a fighting chance. I did like that. Where Pat McAfee had a fighting chance and he was trying his best to really, wield Gunther at his own game. The chops. Them going chop for chop was really, really good. I honestly thought in a world of Triple H's WWE, him being the person that runs everything, I thought Pat McAfee was going to win. I thought Pat McAfee was going to win and that he was going to pull something off on Gunther. Especially when Michael Cole held Gunther's legs during that roll-up pin. I really thought that it was over. I thought it was over. But it wasn't. And Gunther comes out with the win. Put him in a sleeper hole. Put him in a Boston Crab. Went chop for chop with them. And we all know Gunther's chops are very diabolical. I want to hear them in person to see how loud it really is. But, hey, we all knew Gunther was going to win. And I knew Gunther was going to win, but I thought they were going to pull a curveball on us. So there's that. And then we have the main event. The WWE Undisputed Championship match. We had Randy Orton versus John Cena. Now, with this being said, right? The fuck was that? I like this match. because it kind of seemed like they knew each other. I love matches like this where you wrestled each other so many times that everything just clicks. It clicks, it clicks, it clicks. And they knew each other. 25 years of this rivalry. It's kind of like Stone Cold and The Rock. You know, kind of like Michaels and Undertaker. You know each other so well that you guys can just do whatever and it works. You know, the amount of AAs, you know, Orton trying to go for the punt kick, which Cena has suffered a couple of times before in the past. He misses. I'm kind of sick and tired of them teasing this punt kick. I want to see him kick somebody's head off. That's the person that grew up watching '09 Orton. And also, the finish of this match. The finish of this match was pure chaos. Knocking out the refs multiple times. You know, I thought Cena was actually going to hit Randy with the title. And it was going to end in a DQ. But no, Randy moves out the way. Ref gets hit. And then they start pulling out tables. Randy Orton sitting there and AAing Cena through the announce table. And then AAing him through a regular table. I loved it. This was not a anything goes match. But it felt like it. You know, with all the shenanigans. With Cena bringing the title in. You know, the low blows. The table spots. It just felt like that. But, like I said before, I don't see Cena losing this title anytime soon for the simple fact he just lost. I mean, not lost it. He just won it at WrestleMania. He just won it at WrestleMania, and I think personally, I don't see him losing this belt at all. Like I said, the only way that he loses this belt is if they do... He loses it, he wins it, he loses it, he wins it, and he just racks up the title wins to make sure that nobody else can touch him. That's all I think. You know, that's the only way I can see him losing it that quickly is if he lost it to Randy, won it back at Money in the Bank or on a random episode of SmackDown, and then he lost it again via cash-in. He goes for it again, gets it back. That's the only way I see this happening. Unless they wait until November to take the title off him. Which, I feel like after Cena, let me say this. After Cena, I want them to stop with these long title reigns. That'll be the next video, is my thoughts on long title reigns. But Cena ended up coming out on top. And I don't know. They might actually end up running this back, to be honest, with how the finish was. I think they end up running this back. So don't be surprised if you see Randy Orton and John Cena at Money in the Bank. That's all I'm saying. Also, end of the video, I wanted to show you guys this. The Last Time Is Now farewell tour shirt from John Cena. This was a Dayton, Ohio exclusive. And I wasn't going to buy this at first, guys. And then midway through the show, they were like, oh yeah, these shirts are limited time and only can be gotten in Dayton, so I would get them right now if I were you. And I was like, well, crap. So next commercial break, I went and got a shirt. So I'll also be on live showing off some of the stuff I got merch-wise. So that is my Backlash review. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys